What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Make sure you like this video and share it because I'm going to discuss Maria Taylor and how, after all of the quote-unquote controversy between her and that situation that she had with ESPN, it seemed like the biggest winners out of it, and according to the New York Post article, is Mike Greenberg and Stephen A. Smith. Because now they are leading, well, Mike Greenberg will be leading and hosting an all-male NBA countdown show. Now, I recently did a video about Sage Steele, right? And I talked, no, not just Sage Steele. I did a video about Bomani Jones, right? I'll look in the description box. I talked about how ESPN was looking to change certain things on the network. They wanted to appeal and get the best out of not only the guys that they're spending money, the people that are spending money on ESPN, but also their audience, because they have been losing a lot of their audience over the years. A lot of it is their own doing. But with the NBA show, they just were never able to gain the right type of people. They tried everything. And pretty much everybody they've had on those shows have left except for Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose is still there doing NBA Countdown. But the hosts, specifically Maria Taylor, Michelle Beadle, they're not there anymore. Rachel Nichols is gone. And listen, this whole civil war that went on between these two, mostly on Maria Taylor's side, she had all of woke Twitter on her side, and they were siding with her. They were chilling for her. She goes to NBC, where she's not really going to do any NBA unless it's the Olympics or whatever. But now she's over there, and Rachel Nichols is pretty much done at ESPN as well. But the biggest winners were Mike Greenberg. Mike Greenberg makes $6.5 million a year. He's one of the highest paid personalities on the network, and that has to do a lot with his name recognition. The guy had a popular radio show, Mike and Mike, and that show did great for the network, but unfortunately wanted to break those guys up for whatever reason. Mike Golick, I believe, has left. I believe he might still do college football coverage, or he might be in the last year of doing that. You can let me know, but his role in ESPN pretty much is done. He pretty much is gone. Mike Greenberg is still there collecting a nice paycheck. I believe he did The Jump. I don't know if he's still going to be doing that. Because again, I don't watch much ESPN's network anymore like that, here and there. But let's get into the article here from the New York Post. It says Mike Greenberg, Stephen A. Smith are the biggest winners in ESPN's drama-filled NBA shakeup. After the departure of Maria Taylor as host of its top NBA pregame show, including the finals, ESPN is turning to a familiar face as it remakes his coverage. The Post has learned Mike Greenberg will replace Taylor as the top host of NBA Countdown, according to sources, meaning he will be on point for the coveted position of hosting the finals. So not only did he take Maria Taylor's spot, but Rachel Nichols as well, because Rachel Nichols liked having the spot of being able to be out there as sort of like the face of the NBA Finals. Greenberg will be joined by Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, and Magic Johnson. You know what's interesting? Stephen A. Smith wanted Magic Johnson on the network doing NBA pregame. So that probably is a Stephen A. Smith move. ESPN, which declined comment, is banking on some of its biggest names to bring, I guess, a level of relevancy to its top pregame NBA show, which is often compared to TNT's legendary Inside the NBA. Oh, it will never reach that. And they can try. Listen, they're trying to use the formula that TNT has been using and has been working for them. But see, you tried to add women into it because you wanted to show that you're inclusive and you thought that it would bring more eyeballs, and it did not. It failed. And ESPN is paying a lot of money to the NBA in order to have their games on the network. In its 2 decades owning rights to NBA games, ESPN has consistently made changes on its top studio show. Greenberg is one of the faces of ESPN. He has a $6.5 million per year contract and a daily TV and radio shows while hosting the NBA draft. He has never, however, hosted a marquee pregame show for the network. That's crazy. You have a guy like Mike Greenberg that you could utilize in a bunch of different spots, and now you're putting him on this NBA pregame show. Meanwhile, Smith, ESPN's $12 million per year man, has pushed to form his own countdown big three with his buddies Wilbon and Johnson. Smith gets his wish. So adding Magic Johnson and Michael Wilbon was a Stephen A. Smith decision. Listen, Michael Wilbon has been one of the stalwarts of ESPN. I really like his analysis. I think that was a good move. Jalen Rose is solid. Magic Johnson, he's somebody that brings credibility to the show. But we will see. We will see. I think Mike Greenberg is really good at what he does. I think anywhere they put him, I think he's going to do well. This has the potential to work, but it also has the potential to be a disaster, because there's a lot of egos on that panel, Rose, who co-hosts a daily ESPN talk show, is the only panelist returning to his position from last season's program. Rose's spot had been in question, but he will now begin his 10th season on Countdown, which is quite a feat given the show's endless amount of revolving cast. Rose also writes a column and hosts a podcast, The Renaissance Man, for the NY Post. So after all of the virtue signaling, all of the back and forth with the Maria Taylor fans, the people that may support Rachel Nichols, the two people who gain the most are two of the highest paid people on the network, Stephen A. Smith and Mike Greenberg. And you also got to ask yourself what took them so long. Maria Taylor shouldn't have been hosting that. Maria Taylor was okay, but she wasn't going to bring people to watch the show regularly. There are people that would watch it here and there, but they didn't watch it for her. And I think they realized that. That's why they didn't offer her a big contract, because they said, we have enough talent on the network to be able to put in that spot. So for the people that support Maria Taylor, just know that they felt like they could replace her, but they're going to replace her with a straight hetero male, white male that woke Twitter cannot stand, that type of guy, right? And they're going to put him in Maria Taylor's spot. That's what you call unwoking yourself. Okay, ESPN is unwoking themselves a little bit because they realize we need to have substance. We need to have credibility instead of trying to get cool points with Twitter. We need to put the most capable people, the people we pay the most money for, in that spot. We need to treat the NBA Countdown pregame show as if it is one of the top shows on the network. We need to prioritize it in marketing. We need to put personalities, some egos on that panel. And that's what they're seemingly doing. Time will tell whether this will work. Time will definitely tell whether this will work. Insider Adrian Wojnarowski, a Countdown panelist last year, will remain on nearly every big show, but he will provide breaking news and information as opposed to opinions, which might be the best spot for him. He can be like the Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer does that for the Fox NFL Countdown show. And I think Jay Glazer does a good job. Adrian needs to be put in that. Woj needs to be put in that spot. We don't need his opinions. We need him to just break that news. Jay Williams, who was the most recent installment of the program, will not continue on Countdown, but will remain in the morning on the radio with Keyshawn and Max Kellerman. As for Magic Johnson, he will be on pretty frequently, though less often than the other top ESPN analysts. He is scheduled to appear during the playoffs, the finals, and top regular season events. ESPN's Wednesday Countdown shows will also have a new look with Michael Eves of SportsCenter handling the hosting duties. Michael will be joined on the show by Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, and Cheney. Oh, good old Kendrick Perkins, huh? Besides Woj, Malika Andrews and Mark Spears will be featured reporters on Countdown. Andrews has already been named the host of ESPN's newly daily program, The NBA Today. She is also a top sideline reporter for the network. ESPN has resisted its NBA coverage, had reset its NBA coverage in the wake of the exit of Taylor and Rachel Nichols. Taylor left for NBC, while Nichols was removed after her year-old private comments were reported by the New York Times. In the comments, Nichols questioned ESPN's record on diversity, which she said she felt jeopardized her contractually agreed-upon role as host of the finals. Taylor ended up hosting instead of Nichols in 2020 and 2021. ESPN kept Nichols on air all year, though executives knew about those comments, but removed her from the sidelines during the finals after the story broke. At the time, Nichols continued during her daily NBA program, The Jump. Now ESPN has completely removed her from the air in the final year of her contract. She is still being paid. She's basically being paid to stay home. The network also canceled The Jump and replaced it with Andrew's NBA Today, which still may not get people to watch. In his latest reinvention of his NBA coverage, ESPN is turning to what it views as some of the most reliable performers. Greenberg, Smith, Wilbon, and Rose all have daily TV programs. Meanwhile, it hopes Johnson can add some more star power in its second tour with the network. I mean, again, I hope it works out for them, because even though I do think it is, I think ratings wise, I think it may be a little bit more of a success, but this is something they should have did years ago. Should have did this years ago, because the show has been floundering for a while. And they brought on all these ex-players when they should have looked inward and say, who is our major faces of the network? Who brings the ratings? Who has the credibility? Who are people going to want to hear speak basketball? Stephen A. Smith, Mike Wilbon, Magic Johnson, Jalen Rose. You add in Mike Greenberg, who's a very popular figure at the network. The guy has shown to be a success when he did morning radio. Should have did this years ago, but we'll see where this goes. I think this is a W for definitely a W for Mike Greenberg, Stephen A. Smith. They pretty much taken over the network, and they are redoing things, and they're trying to help some of these shows as much as possible by utilizing the men who bring the views and not trying to force diversity.